In this video, I'm going to teach you how to install a USB hub inside your Model Y or your Model 3's glove box. And the reason why you want to do that is because now you can relocate your Sentry USB stick or Sentry USB hard drive inside that glove box. And the reason why you want to do that is because the glove box is pin protected, or could be pin protected, and that way thieves or anyone else trying to mess with your Tesla, they're not going to be able to get the footage out. They could try to pry open the glove box, but they're just wasting valuable time, and they're probably not going to do that. So this is a DIY video. I'm going to show you guys exactly what I did in terms of installing the USB hub, and more importantly, how to run the cable and how to hide it. Now the whole process is pretty simple. I would say about 30 minutes start to finish, and if you're following exactly what I'm doing, it'll be really easy. With that said, you do need to have all the tools ready ahead of time, and of course the USB hub. So I'm putting everything in the description and in the comments in terms of what you need before you get started. As for the process itself, you'll see that there is some disassembly required, and you do need to drill a tiny little hole. I found an optimal place to drill, and it minimizes the hole size that you need. So it's very small and discreet, and afterwards you'll see that the disassembly and the drilling is really simple, and it's nothing that you have to worry about. All right, that's all I have to say. So if you're interested, let's get started. First, I want to show you what everything looks like before I get started. A lot of you guys have a similar setup. You have multiple USB devices plugged into some kind of hub that's plugged into basically the one free USB port, right? As you can see, I do have a tray here I do need to remove, but this is a nifty little tray, and I have a controller here for the Atari games inside this Tesla. If you guys haven't checked out my other video about best accessories for your Model Y or S, make sure you do so at the end of this video. All right, after removing the tray, you can see a bunch of wires, right? So it's time to fix this. So this is the hub I decided to pick up. This is a 4-port, actually 5-port. There is a micro USB in the back, but for the most part, it's a 4-port plug. This is actually USB 3.0, not 2.0, but that's okay. But the reason why I chose this is because it's one piece, and this is approximately 5 feet in length. I tried 4 feet, which is a little bit short. 6 feet is a little bit long. So I think 5 feet is the perfect length. So this is the one I'll be using, and this will end up inside the glove box. Now, besides the hub, these are the tools that you need. You need scissors, you need pliers, you do need T20 torque bit. This is very important, right? Usually you get it in a set like this, but you do need a T21. This is very important, okay? If you have it, great. If you don't, you need to get it. Zip ties, this T20 torque bit, you know, scissors, pliers, drill bits, and a power drill. And that's pretty much it. The first thing you need to do is remove this trim piece, which is pretty easy to do. I've already done it before. There's pins behind it, so you just have to go slowly and pull it apart. You don't want to pull too hard in any given section. You don't want to actually break this thing, but just stick your fingers under there and start pulling. All right, there you go. This whole section came out. You can see the pins behind it. The only one that didn't come out is this one, and I had a problem with this one before. That's okay, we could just manually remove that and put it on later. The next thing is to remove this metal bracket, and the only purpose of this is to hold that piece in, and also you can see for cosmetic reasons you get that nice silver trim piece over here, right? So you can see to remove it, simply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws. And this is why you need this T20 torque bit, because it fits right in. And let's go ahead and remove it. Okay, so I have all the screws out. So next, lift up your armrest. And there's a couple of places where this locks into, like right here. There's a couple tabs, and there's another one here. And that's about it. So you gotta just pry it out from there. There you go. And once you do, this thing comes out pretty easy. So the next part is to figure out how you route your USB port along the side here, because there's actually no holes anywhere. I'm actually quite surprised. This is one area where quality control on a Tesla is actually good. I kind of figured up by the hinge or somewhere there would be some kind of hole opening, and there isn't. So most people would just drill right here. I mean, this is quite large, right? The male side to the USB port is actually very wide. So this is probably, what, ½ inch, 3/4 of an inch. So in order to drill a hole and make this go through, you have to drill an enormous hole. So since I didn't want to drill a huge ½ inch or 3/4 inch hole, I was looking at any other openings or holes that exist already. And this is the only one I found. The one for the lid cover. You can see when the lid cover closes, right, the bottom portion does come out, but when you're closing it, you can see the hole opens up. So I decided to utilize this to my advantage. This actually is wide enough so that the USB head could be pushed through, but the thing is, when it closes, you can see when the lid closes, there's no space. So that's where I decided to drill a hole so that the USB cable can still fit and it wouldn't affect the lid. Okay, so just put something here to make sure the lid doesn't open all the way, because we need this space here. See, if you look at this, you can see how easy this USB head just slides through, right? That's what you want. And then the hole is basically for the cable, right? And then this cable is gonna go like this, and basically it's gonna wrap around on the inside over here and go inside the glove box. Okay, so now that you know that the wires go like this, right? You do need to drill that hole. So next, let me show you what I did. I used various drill bits and made the hole bigger and bigger and bigger until I got it to the right size. This is about 1/4 inch, although you could go a little bit smaller. I just went a little bit bigger to give it more play, but it's really up to you guys. So next, let me show you that. So now that you have the hole drilled out and it looks something like this, well, now it's the easy part. So open up your glove box. So put in the hub and give yourself, you know, a little bit of play, right? You don't want too much play in here, just a little bit, something like this. And what's nice is the back of the glove box actually does have a gap. So you could actually just route the cable to the back of the glove box and not worry about it catching or anything. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So I have it routed to the back already. So if I close the glove box, you can see that the wire, see, it's very loose, right? So it's not like the wire is being, you know, clamped on or anything like that. The back of the glove box is just opened up. I guess Maybe it's with mine, but I think all glove boxes are like this. So you could stick the wire right behind, right? So that's nice. So make sure you give yourself a little bit of play, right? So it's not all the way against it. It doesn't need to be like that, right? Next up, you do need to pull up this trim, squeeze the USB cable underneath like this, right? That way it's not just like dangling there. So as you can see, the cable is tucked in behind that trim piece, right? All the way pressed against the edge of the glove box, and that's what you want, right? You actually want to press it a little bit more than this right here, okay? You want it to be in a little bit more. That way when you close it, it does not affect the closing at all. Otherwise, if that cable is not all the way tucked in, you may have a hard time closing the glove box. But the way it is now, it's not going to be a problem. So let me show you. Right? Very, very easy to do. So make sure you have that back cable tucked in all the way against the glove box, so you're not going to have a problem closing it. Just go ahead and plug in first and see how much play you want, because we could always drag this into the glove box again, or you could tuck it in underneath this cover over here, something like this, right? Because you want the cable to go down, something like that. So this is where I want my cable to be. So next, I'm going to use zip ties and just tie this along here, make it tighter. Okay, I decided to use 2 zip ties. Really, you only need 1, but I just want to make things cleaner. So I have some extra cable here that I zip tied. So I plan on just hiding it right here, right? The rest of the cable is untouched, so it's going to be like this, right? And I have a zip tied. There's a little cable thing that I zip tied this to, right, as you can see, and that's it. You know, that's the only thing. Of course, I'm going to cut these ends off, but yeah, that's a pretty complete look. You can see while it goes up right underneath into the glove box, you really don't see anything, right? And inside is what it looks like. You have the USB cable going through the hole, right? And I have a little slack here going inside. Of course, you can put another hub here, and I think I'm going to do that just so I have an extra port or 2. But it's really going to clean up this space, right? So look at it. If you remove all this, now you gain all that back, and you don't have to worry about this, at least not over here. So with that, I'm going to clean this out. I'm going to cut this out and then put everything back in reverse. And with this cable, even like this, right, with the lid, yeah, the lid still opens up and closes just fine. Okay, now that I have the metal piece on, remember this got stuck, right? We need to remove it, so just take a pair of pliers. Now, this might not happen to you guys. I know that only after the 2nd or 3rd try this started happening, so you may not have this problem, but if you do, it's very simple. Just use the pliers and pull it out. Okay, there you go. You may have to wiggle it around a little bit. It's hard to do with one hand, so I couldn't show you, but this is what it looks like afterwards. You have to just press it in really, really hard, and once you do, both sides are grabbing on. Okay, now it's time to put this piece back on. Start with the front first, then move towards the back. Because the front, there's not a lot of clearance over here. It's pretty tight fit, so make sure you press in the front first before moving to the back side. This is back on, right? Pretty smooth still. And you can see the USB cable, it's plugged in. The lid still closes just fine. So that's pretty nice. Now let's see the glove box. This is still here, and the glove box still works just fine. By the way, if you have a wireless charger like this, which is really cool, take a look at that. Yeah, very cool, right? So if you have this type of wireless charger or any other phone holder or anything like that where you do have to run a power cable, you now no longer have to run it to the center console, because if you do, then you can't close this lid, right? Now you could close everything just fine. So now you could just run it to your glove box, which is also very nice. And you know, you could just run the cable to the same spot, right, behind that panel, and route it into here. So I'm gonna do that next. Okay, I have this all tucked away. This is actually pretty snug. I have it going under this panel here. I just used my fingers, shoved it in, and same to the back side, out the same way, right? And I have this now zip tied. So as you can see, this is almost full. So I have the wireless charger, the transmitter, I have one extra port, and also the USB stick for Sentry Mode. And actually I do have one more cable here, and this is actually used for charging that wireless controller for the Target game. So I'm gonna have that here as well. So as you can see, 4 ports is already gone. I did put my original hub over here, right? Now there's only one being used, but I think I'm just gonna leave that there. Still a cool look in case I need to plug anything else in here, and I don't want to reveal my glove box. That is still open, right? I realized also, besides the wire going through here, the gap, I also just kind of stuck it to the side. Actually, I like this better because it gives it a snug feel, right? And with that, there you go. Now it's back to normal. And when you show people, you know, you try to show off what's inside here, it's nice and clean, and you don't have to be embarrassed about wires or anything like that. All right guys, that concludes my DIY tutorial how to install a USB hub and to move your Sentry USB stick and hard drive inside the pin protected glove box for your Model Y or Model 3. The overall process is pretty simple. Of course, I tried it a few times, but if you're following this video, I think you could get it done within 30 minutes max if you have all the tools and things necessary. With that said, I have everything I've used, the hub, the tools, zip tie, anything that you may need, I have them linked in the description and in the comment of this video. But overall, what are your thoughts? Are you going to give this a try? Or you go wait? Do you have a different method that's easier? I think this is pretty simple, but I want to hear what you have to say, so make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, of course, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell if you are new so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. All right, until next time, bye-bye.